Nobody ever declares that, no government ever declares itself evil. They're always fighting on the side of good. And I think, the truth is that they convince themselves of that. That's really how it works. You don't, you really do think that you are the force of good. It's just like, Israelis said that we are God's children, and so anybody that opposes must be, just servants of the devil. And it's really very, no different in different secular settings too. I mean, it's just kind of use a slightly different language, but that's what it is. There's a sense that, we're always kind of I think the Western establishment, like I think I've said a few times, is just so certain of its own supremacy. Whether in every especially its moral supremacy, that that anything that opposes it is evil. They will use different language than Israeli extremists, but it's it comes from a similar place. I was just actually thinking that we're seeing, I think in both cases, we're seeing kind of an echo of World War II. That it's a narrative that really took shape during World War II and was strengthened thereafter. And, part of it is this was all about the persecution of the Jews. The Jews are the eternal victims. And then what we have to guard against is the rise of a new Hitler. And this becomes kind of the prism through which everybody looks. They have you should have a much broader understanding of history and even of the World War II conflict. But that's what it's become. It's kind of been really narrowed down to these things. And it's just used to justify all kinds of really evil actions. It's obvious in the case of Israel. We are the victims, so how can you even dare to criticize us, what we're doing in Gaza? You're obviously an anti-Semite, and all kinds of people echo that. And it is a product of World War II, or it's just sort of it's something that's been passed on down to us from World War II. But the same thing you see in Europe, vis-a-vis Ukraine. It's just like Putin's a new Hitler. It's always 1938 and it's Munich. It's just like, no appeasement. That's the only lesson that we can learn. And we just have to repeat it again and again. That's the sense of what, kind of gives us a sense of our own moral goodness. We can, and so these are, they become, these are ideas or more than that, just sort of interpretations of history that have justified a lot of really unjustifiable actions. And here we are a good 80 years later, and we're still kind of, for certain people, are just stuck in that same mold, looking at history. But things have really changed, it's obviously they have, and you just have to get to have some sort of flexibility to get out of that that very narrow view of things and look at reality. Just don't always, when somebody's described as a Hitler, don't jump in line and assume that he actually is. He's a historical figure. We're living in different times, and the Jews of Israel today are not the Jews of the 1930s or the 1940s. Their position's very different, and you just have to see that. You have to just kind of let go of these things and stop living, repeating these so-called historical truths.
Okay, well, let's end it there, Dad.
Okay.
All right. Have a good rest of the day and a great weekend.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Guys, thanks for listening. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you haven't checked it out yet, please check out my website, noblisky.io. You can look at the pinned comment below. It's something that I think you'll find useful. Even my dad uses it. My wife uses it. Instead of Googling things, you should be using this website because you get access to OpenAI, Perplexity, Anthropic, DeepSeek. There's hundreds of models that you can use. It's what I use to create the thumbnail images, things like this. And the greatest thing about it is there's no rate limits. There are no subscription fees. It's free to try out and use. You get free tokens every day. So if you're not a heavy AI user, you will never have to pay for anything. But this is really my passion project. I really want to get it off the ground, and I think you guys would like it. So yeah, check it out. Let me know what you think. And if you have time to download the apps and give it 5 stars, that'd mean a lot to me as well. Thanks a lot.